What is good, everyone? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. My name is D-Free, and we have some interesting stuff for you guys here today. So I hope you guys enjoy. Subscribe if you happen to be new, of course. And shout out to I Seriously. Shout out to the Dokkan Reddit for allowing me to find I Seriously's tweet, I guess. I don't necessarily know if that... It doesn't necessarily need shout out, but I'm just a nice guy. I'm in a giving mood, I guess. So follow I Seriously because he's like Renzi. He finds a lot of this stuff. He data mines and stuff. This isn't particularly a data mine, but this is from the V-Jump. So again, thank you for the assistance, man, if you're listening. So basically, we have a future Gohan, Super Saiyan future Gohan, who is coming. He is going to be the physical. He's going to be physical type, but he's going to be the physical future category leader. So what we're going to do in this video, by the way, we're going to talk about that category. I have a mock team that I built up, which will wind up being built into the better ones, of course, because you know who I am, right? No, I'm just playing. We have a team that I mocked and I built up that I want to show you guys, and we're going to go over the best possible units and like different units that can be pulled into that category. So that's one of the things we're going to do. Also, on a side note, as part of this tweet, to be used against the Tech Cell's Extreme Z Awakening. So yes, Extreme Z Awakening is coming for Tech Cell, and that future category will be strong against that Extreme Z event. So keep that in mind. This is awesome because I really enjoy. I love Gohan. You know, maybe him having like a good future Gohan card, because we haven't had a future Gohan card in the game in so long. Maybe having him will kind of reinvigorate my interest in future Gohan. Just personally, I prefer this Gohan right here over this Gohan. But I also love Ultimate. I even love Nerd Gohan and Great Saiyaman and stuff. So it'll be pretty cool though. Nonetheless, like I said, Extreme Z Awakening is coming for Tech Cell for everyone that is ready. I've actually already done a video like talking about how good he could potentially be. If you want to watch that video, it should pop up in the final 20 seconds of this video. So that, again, is something that is happening. We don't have an exact date, and let's go ahead and see a close-up of the image. Here we go. So it doesn't have an exact date from what I can see. We also, just like always with the V-Jump scans, don't know what it does yet. We have to wait for a data download in the game itself, and then DBZ Space will get updated. Right now, this is more like a sneak peek, but we do know that it is coming out this month. So if you wanted a date, there you go. It's coming out this month. It's presumably the next Dokkan Festival, so keep that in mind. Coming to JP. So yeah, we're coming soon. And this art looks awesome. SSR vet down here up to his TUR. Looks awesome. Unless... No. Yeah, this is SSR. It says blatantly SSR. And then this was TUR. I wonder if he's going to have some sort of transformation. I don't think he will. I think he's going to be another one of the category leaders without a transformation, which I don't necessarily mind it. I feel like transformations are hit or miss. Honestly, I don't feel like they're necessary. You could just make the card good. As opposed to kind of making them good but leaving room for improvement so you can turn them into a completely different unit. But, you know, he's probably going to be one of the ones like Jiren that does not have the transformation, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens. He could potentially have it, and if he transforms, he doesn't necessarily have to turn into, like, a new form in particular. He doesn't have to go, like, Super Saiyan 2 because, I mean, he never really achieved that form anyway in this continuity if you're not familiar with this character. But he doesn't have to do that. I mean, he could just be like buffed up or something, right? And of course, it's going to be double-armed future Gohan because they don't let him come out with that one arm. Doesn't his other card have two arms too? So yeah, it's going to be double. I would like the single arm one. I want to see that sprite in motion and the way he fights. But yeah, all right, there we go. So here's the deal. For this category, they're going to pull from a few different pre-existing links. So basically the first iteration of some sort of future-esque link was this link right here, Messenger from the Future. This one is pretty much just cells and Trunks units. Now, there's not every single Trunks unit in here. There's a lot of them. In fact, most of them, I would say. But I don't think every single one is in here. But nonetheless, I wanted to pull this up simply because the cells are inside of here as well. So this was like the first link, you know, pre-Goku Black introduction that had any sort of inkling for the, you know, the future type of atmosphere in the game. So some really good units to consider are going to be these perfect cells. Now, in Cell here, I just want to talk about him. He's probably got a really underwhelming passive, but if like he ever gets an Extreme Z Awakening, keep an eye out on this guy because he can be ridiculously good. And he has some of the best art in the game, in my opinion. But he could be ridiculously good. He has awesome links. He always has been like this unit that was like good but crappy. Like, he got crapped on a lot by the community whenever he was a more prevalent unit. But if he ever gets an Extreme Z Awaken, he could be really good. But nonetheless, we have two real candidates for it, and we have the TEQ one, who, in my opinion, just, you know, I'm going to go over it briefly just because we're here right now. But like I said, do check out that other video because I go more in depth there, and I give you some sort of evidence based off of other Extreme Z Awakens. But anyways, I expect him to still keep Supreme. He might get some sort of effect like an attack boost, a defense boost, whatever. He might even get both of them, right? Something like that. Passive skill, I don't think will go any higher than 15, which is fair. Just because I think 15 is a good number, especially because we've seen a lot of characters popping in with 15% on their passives now. And he gets it per every orb obtained. Like a good, and this is where I break that down in that video, a good comparison is between him and Kefla. Because Kefla doesn't even have Fierce Battle. She doesn't have access to that massive potential system that he has. But by all intents and purposes, she has like an infinitely better passive than this guy. Just because she produces orbs. She has another gimmick on there where she dodges and stuff. But I think at the least he's going to get at start of the turn increase. Probably. I think that's less probable than the next couple of things I'm going to mention. But he's going to probably produce his own orbs and get his passive increased up to 15. So, you know, if they give him something like a 40% at the start of the turn boost, and then he produces his own orbs, and then he's able to get even at least 12, I think that's just insane. Like, I think that's insane, even if we keep it at 12. Just because, again, high potential system, he'll have access to SA level 15 as well, being Extreme Z Awaken. His stats are going to be through the roof at 100%. So I think even if they don't upgrade this from 12, if they give him other gimmicks around it to supplement it, then it'll be awesome. Okay, so he's a unit to consider. It's just with Extreme Z Awakens, they don't fix the links on these characters. Now, the cool thing about this, we're going to talk about Dismal Future, but you have access to Goku Black Rose. So it's not the, you know, end of the world, but it's still kind of you know. And then, of course, STR Cell. I recently showcased this guy at like 90%, but, or 80-something%, but he's really good. Awesome Cell. For all intents and purposes, as of right now, he is the best one in the game. I'll have to kind of reevaluate this or that opinion whenever TEQ gets his Extreme Z Awaken. So there we go. So that's about it. Everyone else, not really worth considering unless you're running TEQ variants on your team, a lot of TEQ units. I mean, for example, LR Goku Black will be here. So technically, he's a really good option if you're running LR Goku Black, right? So there's all of the things I would consider for this. And I don't really care too much about these Super Trunkses and stuff. And of course, there are Rage Trunks variants in here. But let's move to a more modern Link that's been updated more recently, I'll say. Dismal Future. So this Link right here does feature, first and foremost, a Future Gohan who has 2 arms. Yeah, I thought so. So we have Future Gohan in here. He probably won't be usable just because he has the exact same name as what I'm expecting the other Gohan to have. So he's basically removed from my list. But this one is a lot better than it has more variety, right? Because you have the Rose units. Either one would work really well if you have them or have them with dupes or what have you. So that would work really well. You have Merge Zamasu, who is an incredible unit, an incredibly hard-hitting unit as well. Just on the right team, he's just, of course, like a monster. So you have that. You have the Zamasu units. Int Zamasu is, in my opinion, infinitely better than STR Zamasu. But Int Zamasu is incredibly slept on, actually. But he's an awesome unit to have in this team. And the cool thing about this Link, as opposed to the Messenger from the Future, is at the very, very minimum, it is a 1-key Link across the board, assuming you're not running cells, right? It's a 1-key Link almost across the board, assuming you're not running cells or LR Trunks. You know, well, you'd run LR Trunks, but I'm going to get to him in a minute. But, you know, it's basically a 1-key Link across the board, in which LR Trunks actually doesn't have either of these links. He doesn't have this one or Messenger from the Future, so I didn't necessarily see him when I was looking through the other one, but he was technically in the other one with is not awakened state. But the last link I would consider is the Xenoverse Link. And the reason why Xenoverse is an option is because, first and foremost, this Trunks has this link, and he doesn't have the other couple of links either. He's just like LR Trunks. Does not have Messenger from the Future or access to the Dismal Future Link either. So I had to pull it up for him specifically because he's a good option. Don't sleep on him. He is definitely going to be in consideration for being on this team. He's another unit I recently showed off, actually. It's almost like I predicted this. No. And I also wanted to talk about it just because of the fact that these guys are here, right? And they're interesting because, and the Supreme Kai of Time too, but they're interesting because they're not exactly I would say, from the future. They are, but they also bounce around time a lot. That's kind of how things are. So technically they're from the future, so they could be in the category. So it just depends how liberal they want to be. For all intents and purposes, though, these characters are from the future, but they are from the past as well because they just bounce around times. So that's the way that their continuity works. But they originate from the future. And again, Supreme Kai of time as well. Although she kind of exists beyond time, if I recall correctly. So it's pretty weird how these guys and their continuity shakes out. So that's why I was like, yeah, I'll include them. Hopefully I'm not confusing anybody with my confusion. So there's that. And last thing I wanted to pull up really quickly, just because I brought it up, we're going to bounce over to the Super Saiyan Link, and we're going to pull up LR Trunks, just because, like I said, he's, of course, going to be in this category. I don't think there's any, you know, ifs, ands, or buts. He's going to be in this category. And he's one of the best units, of course, that's available. Now, last thing I wanted to talk about is don't sleep on the fact that future Gohan could have a secondary leader skill that allows you to run physical types on your team. So if it allows you to run physical types on your team, you know, some of these units could see an emergence, like a unit like LR Gogeta, because they have access to experienced fighters and Super Saiyan and Prepare for Battle, all links, and Golden Warrior and Kamehameha, all links that I would expect the leader to have, the future Gohan. They could be really good, and then of course they could transform, right? But nonetheless, they'd fit really well, just link set wise, on that team. So I wouldn't sleep on them as an option either, if he does allow the physical types to be on the team. And then of course a unit like Gotenks is super attacking early, defensive viable units like the Vegito units, just a lot of option when it comes to physical. You can even extend your barrier to you know, allow you to use support units, because physical is actually flush with a lot of really good support units, namely these two at the bottom. We have a bunch of them down here, so don't sleep on that, because that could also be a possibility. But I just wanted to point out super physical typing and get you guys' thoughts on that, because it's very possible that he has a secondary leader skill, and that helps, of course, if you don't have the makeup to be able to build like the quote-unquote optimal team or anything like that. Maybe you're missing a unit or two, and you can easily slide in a universal support unit like Super Saiyan Bardock, who's in here somewhere right around here, right? There he is. So somebody like him, you know, he'd fit really good on the team, and that Goku at the bottom right here. But yeah, anyways, let's move on to my mock team. Are you ready? Dun dun dun. Boom. All right. So a unit I didn't talk about at all, actually, was the LR androids. By the way, when it speaks of the physical stuff, Whirus, he's down here somewhere, but Whirus could be a really good option, especially if you're running all these Android or these LRs. So keep that in mind. But Whirus, if they do give the option for physical, or even if they don't, to be honest, because he could still slide on that team the same way he does on Hybrid Saiyans. But mainly, I'm interested to see what the leader skill will be. I think it's going to be a 170 attack leader skill. I really do. And that's going to be awesome for LR Trunks, because he'll finally peak offensively as opposed to being on that 130 team. And I can't wait to see that happen for like SS2 Gohan, LR, and stuff like that. So anyways, I didn't talk about them very much because they're good. It's just they really want to be in a different type of position. They would prefer to be on like an Android-centric team and stuff like that. So I didn't really cover them a whole lot. I mean, if we see here, they have access to Nightmare, which is awesome. I think they have that with the LR here and with Zamasu. Yeah, so they have, or Rose, but they have that in Fear and Faith with both of them. So that's pretty awesome. And then Legendary Power there. Come back over here, please. So they have access to Infinite Energy, an Android Link, Twin Terrace, an Android Link. The Innocence would be a link that they would have with Android characters as well. Shocking Speed, again, most prevalently going to be, so you see where they'd want to be on an Android team. So I didn't really talk about them a whole lot, but I don't want to sleep on them because they could be really good here. And also, I really don't too much care for their passive. 15,000 when performing a super attack is very outdated. But if you have them Rainbow from the campaign, they could be a very, very sneaky good option. But outright, I'm not going to say that they belong on this team, so that's why they were my cast off for this. They could make it on the team over this Trunks, for example, if you would like that, but I would prefer personally to have more Super Saiyan option, but that's just me. But anyways, either or works perfectly fine. I'll have to figure it out whenever I see the leader skill of that character and his passive, the future Gohan. But anyways, of course, the timeless Super Saiyan Trunks, he would definitely be on the team if he's an option for you. He would link very well across the board as well. And also having Rebirth allows him to link very well with his future variant here. So this is Future Trunks Teen, but this is Future Trunks I'm a grown-ass man. Because he is. I think this Trunks is like late 20s, 30s in that area, while this guy's like a teenager. So yeah. And they allow you to run them on the same team together. As you see in the top left, Super Saiyan Trunks Future, Super Saiyan Trunks Teen. So that's how things work out. But of course, we know he's from the future. And then, of course, we have these two will probably, if you can do it, they'll definitely be on rotation. They'll probably most definitely be on a rotation on their own, just because every team they're ever on, they function too well together. 6 links, the passive increase from this guy here, they're always on rotation together, and there's not really any ifs, ands, or buts on them. Just about every team they're ever on, they just go together. Now, the interesting thing it will be to see will be if the other rotation winds up being this, as opposed to Future Gohan, and Future Gohan turns into a kind of quasi-ultimate Gohan, where it's like he's just on the team to be off rotation. And that actually kind of blows, because you really want to use the characters. And of course, you can manage it however you like, but we could get in a position like that. And then for the last slot, like I said, it doesn't necessarily matter. Maybe even neither of these two makes it, and maybe you put in a physical unit like the LR Gogeta type unit and stuff like that. Maybe one of those support units I mentioned, maybe Whirus, but the givens are these guys. Also, this guy can be technically replaced for a different future Trunks, like the Rage Trunks. Any Rage Trunks variant, basically, can be swapped in here. So, that's about it. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Again, we will have this month, sometime this month, Future Gohan coming alongside the EZA for TEQ. I know a lot of people were waiting for that, myself included. So, have an awesome day. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.